when councils were small. Like you can see in the background, this is Oakley, a lovely small little building where there was a town clerk, a deputy town clerk, and the council stood for something. The mayor was in charge. And if they appointed a bylaws officer, a parking officer, it had to be approved by council. They were legitimate. Then later on, they moved to what's now the police station in Oakley. And the council were there for a long time, I know for a fact. Anyway, now look at this is Dandenong. Look at the size of the building they have. I mean, really, it's astronomical. And who paid for that? Well, the victims of rates and stuff. And then we go on to this notorious building up in Casey and have a look at their building. It'll come up in a few seconds in the background. They were banned for years. Have a look at this. I mean, I'll move so you can see the grandeur of this building. I mean, really, all for a few representatives of a ward. Now, a ward is a ward of state. You were born in a ward. It's all to do with doctor. It's all dog Latin. These people only represent the ward, the area. They don't represent the people in the ward. And now they're all look at inside of it. It's just for what? For a private corporation. Now I keep saying KFC, McDonald's, they'd be better off doing the same thing. They'd make more money. They wouldn't even have to produce food. These people produce nothing. The state government provide the money, pick up the bins and stuff. All the money these guys make here is to go into these beautiful buildings. But what I'm going to show you in the background now is what's happening in England. And this is 2022. It's now 25. And things have got 100% worse. And it's something to look forward to. It is drastic. And it's going to happen to us here. And the same with evictions. Another video I just put up about evictions and stuff in England. They're ahead of us by years. Watch these videos. And for God's sake, share them. The only way back is through the common law court. That's what this here. It's not a libertarian badge. It's basically the Common Law Court International through the Sheriff's Office. The power is with the people and it has to have a venue. So it's through the Sheriff's Office, which is through the court, Common Law Court, and with the Hague, and etc., etc. But anyway, we've got to stop it. And apathy will not solve anybody's problem. Bye for now.
Hello, you're through to Manchester Advice Line. You're speaking to Asha. Is it the first time you've called regarding the issue?
The UK is in the grip of a cost of living crisis.
We've got a massive hike in energy bills.
I had £1.50 in my hand. Where am I going to get electric from?
You've done the right thing calling us.
In the last 6 months, 1 in 4 people borrowed money to pay for food and energy bills.
I can't pay anything because all the money is accounted for bills and I'm living on food banks at the moment.
A lot of people are relying on their overdrafts and their credit cards, to just, meet their monthly outgoings.
It feels less like debt management at the minute and more like crisis management.
With costs continuing to rise, many are finding themselves in debt for the first time.
I borrowed £500 and they want £1,800 back off me.
I have no gas, no electric. I literally don't have money to live.
With exclusive access to Citizens Advice and the clients that they're working with, this is the story of the UK's emerging debt crisis, told by the people behind the headlines.
They could consider using bailiffs.
Can I explain the situation to them?
Just try and calm down. Keep your doors locked and keep the bailiffs out.
They're just going to say, no, you've not paid your bill and that's it.
UK households are experiencing the largest collapse in living standards since records began. And it's predicted 1 in 5 people will be in poverty by next year. Citizens Advice is the largest independent free advice provider in the UK. Its caseworkers are currently helping 2 people every minute with crisis support.
I've got a client coming in. It's Carly. She is a single parent, age 34. She's got 2 daughters, aged 7 and 15, living in the local area. She'd like advice and options about how to actually deal with her debts.
Come through. Lovely, thank you.
This is Carly's first visit to seek help. She owes £20,000 after taking out a series of loans over the last 12 months and is struggling to pay for her everyday expenses.
I understand that you've come in for a food voucher, is that right? So if I can just ask you some questions.
Yeah.
How many of you are in the household?
Me and my 2 daughters.
So I understand that you've dropped your working hours.
Well, I dropped because of my my personal situation. Like the last 2 years, I've gone through a lot of loss. Like I lost my mum, my dad, my stepdad, my brother.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough.
And like my mental health has taken a bit of a bashing. I was used to working 30+ hours a week.
Yeah.
So then a month I'd clear like 1,500–1,600, and then this month I got like 700.
So it's a big difference,
a massive
isn't it?
drop.
You just need some breathing space. Yeah. So what I would like to do now, Carly, is to issue you with the food bank voucher. Have you ever been to the food bank before? Okay.
I've never had to do this before, so it's a bit.
There's no shame.
No,
There's absolutely no,
no,
absolutely not. Times are really hard for everybody. And you know where we are.
Right, thank you. I've never been in this situation where I'm worrying about food, of all things, food. It's quite scary. I think I've got about 43p in the bank. So, yeah.
We're seeing more footfall here. We're seeing more clients. I've never known it to be so busy with clients coming and asking for support, financial support, and asking for food vouchers.
See if you'll come running. Oh, there you are, yeah.
Back home, Carly reflects on the period when she began taking out loans.
When I applied for loans, it is really easy. Just Google search loans, and then you can see you've got loans for bad credit, loans to go, loans near me. For example, loans to go. I got one with them, and I borrowed £500, and they want £1,800 back off me. So the interest rate on that was crazy.
The interest rate on the money Carly borrowed from Loans to Go was 180% per year.
You're not really thinking about the consequences either. You're just thinking of the now, like the money to get your food, whatever, electric, gas. Yeah, look, 770% APR is Loans to Go. That's just crazy.
And how quickly did it come through for you?
Literally, I think it's literally within a minute. They can come back going, yes, congratulations, you've been approved, money will be paid in within the hour.
People are always going to be reliant on credit when they run out of money. They just end up in a vicious cycle where the debt is just astronomical compared to what they borrowed in the first place. It's a huge worry for debt advisors. We are going to see situations where people are going to get more and more desperate.
Debbie has worked at Citizens Advice for 11 years and manages a team of 30 caseworkers.
I've worked on both the national team and the local team, and it's the same across the country. This feels like one of the worst periods of times for advice workers, and particularly when it comes to debt.
There were people out there that would still lend me money. I wish they didn't. I really wish they didn't, and that they'd done more thorough checks. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one, but there's probably thousands of people out there in the same situation.
So can I get you to just confirm the first line of your address, your postcode?
235 miles away, in the Manchester Citizens Advice Office, staff are receiving 250 calls a day to their helpline.
And I have nothing in the fridge at all. My electric is down to £2. I need to get myself out of this situation.
This is the first step for many, and when advisors get to grips with the immediate issue.
Hello, Citizens Advice. Help me. Pick your name, please.
Hello, my name is Paolo.
Okay, and Paolo, how can I help you today?
The situation is I had bailiffs knocking on my door 2 weeks ago. They tried to take all my son's birthday presents, Christmas presents.
Okay. I can definitely help you out with that. Do you know what the debts are?
One is for council tax. They've demanded that I pay this money within 2 months. I can't afford it. And I don't know what to do. Thinking, oh, the bailiffs are going to come. I'm nervous, you know.
It's okay, Paolo. You're taking the right step to ring someone here.
A week later, Paolo is still living with the threat of bailiffs turning up on his doorstep.
We'll have pepperoni, I think.
Yes.
On to put the setting. Put that onto what gauge?
1.
He's sole carer to Rodrigo, his 9-year-old son.
Put the pizza on top of there.
He's one of an increasing number of people for whom the cost of living crisis is making it harder to get by, and who are being plunged deeper into existing debt.
The bailiffs, I even look through the curtains. I'm constantly curtain twitching and seeing who's outside, and I've even had to put a board up there.
Paolo gave up his hotel job 4 years ago to look after his son full-time. His only income is universal credit and child benefit, amounting to around £600 a month. Paolo owes thousands of pounds in council tax arrears, utility bills and unpaid fines.
A bailiff is someone that walks into the house and demanding for money and taking all stuff. And they'll say, oh, we can take that because the government says. It makes you feel sad and depressed. All these bills and council tax and all that.
Where to start? Trying to keep on track of it all, it's just physically impossible. Utility bills when you can't afford to pay it because you haven't got the money and the resources. It's just mounted up and mounted up and mounted up.
Paolo's debts have been sold on to different debt collection agencies. He is now being chased by multiple lenders and is confused as to who he owes money to.
You can't survive. That's the fear I have, you know, being a single dad. Oh, Lord, there you did it. Feel better for that?
Yeah.
Chill out. £557 on universal credit, and by the time you've paid bills, it leaves you with nothing. And it's not fair on him. And that's the stress I'm going under at the moment. I'm sorry. It's too much.
New data from Citizens Advice reveals that nearly half of their debt assessment clients across the UK are unable to pay their council tax bills, with 48% of clients in the North West owing, on average, £1,700 to the local authority. 2 weeks after Paolo's first call to Citizens Advice, he's overwhelmed with more demanding letters. As a first step, Rory has advised Paolo to call the council directly about his repayments and to ask whether they're sending bailiffs to his door.
Thanks for calling from City Council.
Hello.
To be honest, I don't know what you're going to do because looking at the amount of income you've got and this council tax bill, I don't honestly know how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right, what I need to do is, I need to put you through to council tax.
I could lose my house.
You need to speak to them because they're the ones who are sending the bailiffs round.
You are currently position 6 in the queue.
Good morning, how can I help?
Can I give you my account number?
You've not come through to council tax, unfortunately. You've pressed the wrong option.
No.
I'll transfer you back through to the main menu.
Afternoon, Salford City Council.
Have I come through to the right person?
No. Yeah, council tax is option 1 and then option 2.
Good morning, Tom. How can I help you today?
I just don't want the bailiffs knocking on my door, you know, and I'm having to worry.
So when you say bailiff, which bailiff company and for what debt? Because you don't have bailiff links to this address. That's nothing to do with us.
After an hour and a half on the phone to the council, Paolo is none the wiser about which of his debts have led to visits from the bailiffs.
Where to go from here? I just don't know what to do anymore, and I'm just petrified.
The increase in the cost of living is accelerating.
The cost of living rises sharply, with food and energy prices set to go even higher.
Prices are rising faster than at any time in the last 40 years.
As families struggle to cope with the cost of living crisis, it's believed that 1 million people are now borrowing money from illegal loan sharks. From a loan shark was to cover everyday living costs. And it's predicted that thousands more will start turning to high-risk lenders.
My electric, it was down to £2.
Do you remember roughly when you took the loan out?
They've started court action, is that right?
Hello, you're through to the Manchester Advice Line. Can I just take your name?
Martina. I was after help in advice because I am struggling.
So I'm just going to get a bit of background from you. So who are you currently living with? Are you living on your own, with family, friends?
I'm my own.
How much do you make at the end of the month?
£700.
Do you only need that?
Yeah, council tax and gas electric. I feel like I'm not getting a break from anywhere.
We'll see what we can do for you.
3 miles away from the Manchester Citizens Advice Office lives 28-year-old Martina. To make ends meet, she works as many hours as she can alongside studying for a degree in criminology and psychology.
I have a lot of sugar. I have about 6 sugars. Because I don't eat a lot, I try to keep my sugars up. So having a load of sugars in my coffee is one of the ways I try to do that. I know it's not very healthy.
It's cheap.
Yeah. Fills you up.
Martina found herself unable to cover her living costs last year. She's accumulated a debt of over £5,000 in energy bills, rent and council tax arrears. She earns just over £700 a month, working night shifts at a local supermarket.
And let's go, and we're off. Turn all the lights off. Make sure it's locked. When I first left school, I was so determined to work hard and get to a good place financially by the age of 30. And I'm working so many hours, I'm studying so many hours. I work till between 4 and 6 in the morning. I've been so used to being on the go, this is all I know. These are all my council tax arrears that seem to be multiplying by the month. I first got behind on my council tax because I had a work injury last year and I was out of work for 9 months, so that's how I wasn't able to pay my council tax bill. So it started with a warning and then now from there it's gone to attachment to earnings.
£70 is being deducted from Martina's £760 monthly wages as part of an attachment of earnings order that's been imposed on her by the council.
Another step that a creditor can take is, rather than instructing bailiffs, they can get an attachment order, which is a way of taking money from your wages. It's when the council tax do that as a collection process, and it can be substantial and unexpected. You can get some councils that be more aggressive than others. Essentially, there needs to be some kind of communication so people know, rather than it happening so quickly where they suddenly find out they're in a situation where they've got an attachment to their earnings.
So this is my gas electric meter balance, which shows I have no gas, no electric, but it's not updated yet. As of yesterday, it said I had 61p, which is now about minus 160. I literally don't have money to live.
Are you having to cut back?
There's nothing really to cut back on because you don't get enough to spend anyway. You know, like, you're already struggling to pay bills. And it's tough.
Despite the energy price cap announced by the government earlier this month, over 60% of us could be living in fuel poverty by next April, with over 65% of those living in the northwest.
Hello, you're through to Manchester Advice Line. How can I help today?
It's unlikely that they would turn up at the property, but if they did, you should just ask them to leave. Do you remember roughly when you took the loan out?
Hi everyone. Okay, so we're just
in Manchester, Debbie arranges regular meetings to check in with the debt advice team during this emerging crisis.
Have you found there's been much changes with people that are coming to you at the moment? You know, we know that things have been deteriorating.
Yeah.
Cost of living wise.
It feels less like debt management at the minute and more like crisis management.
It's beyond our powers, isn't it? It is just beyond our powers at the moment, and it feels that we are at that desperate point. It's crisis. Anyone on the virtual lot over there?
I'm finding more and more clients are in just impossible situations, really, and having that difficult conversation on almost a daily basis. We have homeowners, people who work, people who have never really been in debt in their life, in a situation now where there's no overspending on the budget, they've got huge debts, but they've got no available income to put towards it, and the only thing we can really offer is like food bank vouchers.
But then is there going to be any food in the food banks? That's the other issue. If everyone's going, what do we do?
Well, I've got a client at the moment, Martina, who's a student. She's working nights, doing everything she possibly can. And this client doesn't even have enough money to put credit on her phone to even contact her creditors. I'm struggling to advise her.
And how old is she?
28 she is.
Yeah, so, you know, can't do anything, can't socialise, can't...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. For a client like Martina, it's only going to get worse.